Hey guys, what's up? It's Dani, Max, and Keely Lou.
And you're listening to the Coming Out Happy podcast.
This is where we talk about our experiences being LGBTQ, how we're helping the community, and where we are today.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Coming Out Happy podcast. We are so excited that you're here. But if you like this podcast episode, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and leave us a little review. We'd love to hear from you. All right, Keely, so what are we going to be talking about today?
I am very excited about today's topic because this is a big thing in the LGBTQ plus community. Today we're going to be talking about dating in scarcity.
Ooh, what does that mean?
How often do we feel like the dating pool in the LGBTQ plus community is so small?
Yep, I hear you. I totally agree with that.
It really is. And when you think about it, there's way less of us than there is everyone else. So we have to ask ourselves questions like, do we actually like them, or are we just dating what's available?
Why do you say that?
Because oftentimes I think what happens, you see it with lesbian U-hauling, you see it with, just getting too close too quickly. And is it because it's just what's available, or do we actually like this person? That's why the dating pool is small,
That's why the dating pool is small?
No, that's not why the dating pool is small, but the dating pool is small because of that, we do these things where we attach too quickly, we move too fast,
and we date people all around the world.
Yes, and we long distance date, right?
Yeah, totally.
So I think it's important to talk about and how you can, overcome the dating in scarcity because, there's some different things that you can do. There's questions you can ask yourself to figure out if you're actually liking the person, you like the idea of them, or it's just what's available. We settle sometimes.
So what are some questions? Actually, before we get into that, what was the TikTok that started this all?
Yeah, so this was something that I started posting about on TikTok because I thought about it. And I realized that in my dating past, I sometimes just dated what was available. And I feel bad saying that, but it is the truth. And I think it resonated with a lot of people that were watching the video because they also felt that way. They felt like there was only one person in their town, and then they dated them, and they didn't actually like them. Yeah, and it's same for you in college, right?
Yeah, when there aren't too many people to choose from, it feels like you just kind of have to choose from what's available, or you start to look outside and you're like, you know what? Let me start talking to somebody who's states away, even countries away sometimes, because you're like, if there's no one near me, let's just figure out another option. It's a scary thing to date in scarcity because it's not like regular dating where it's just like you can go on an app and there's tons of options. It literally is a smaller pool and it makes things more difficult.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have mentioned that they're scrolling on the dating app and they run out of swipes. It just comes to an end.
Yeah, you feel hopeless because you're like, okay, well, when am I going to get more swipes? When is someone else going to come in my area? Depending on if you're okay with long distance or not. I know it's a big struggle for a lot of people.
What about this scenario as well? I was just thinking about this. If you feel like there's not going to be a better option, like you're settling for all of the bad qualities because you're like, well, I don't know if there will be anyone else, and you're just thinking about those qualities, even if you don't like them about the person, but you're just like settling because you don't know if there's someone else. And so I feel like settling's a big thing too.
Yeah, how could you not? When there aren't that many options, like what could we compare it to? I know everyone here probably understands what we're talking about, but I think it's like...
Okay, I'll tell you. It's like when you go to your favorite ice cream shop. Oh gosh, here we go with the food again.
And if
you've been listening to the podcast for a while, I feel like sometimes we just talk about food every single time. It works its way in. But yeah, no. So you go to your favorite ice cream shop. Say your favorite flavor is the peanut butter flavor.
But they got no peanut butter flavor.
They don't have any peanut butter flavor. And so you went to the ice cream shop. You got on the dating app. And so you're going to settle for the mint chocolate chip. And I know what you're thinking. That one? The toothpaste one? No.
I love mint chocolate chip. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, some people don't. And as soon as someone told me that mint chocolate chip tasted like toothpaste, I can't get it out of my head. So not a fan anymore.
Got it.
But yeah, then you have to settle for the mint chocolate chip when you really don't like the chips in the mint.
Because you're like, I just want ice cream so badly. Whatever. Let's get rid of the things that I wanted.
But you wanted the peanut butter. But you weren't sure if you were ever going to see a peanut butter again.
Yeah.
So this is such a terrible example. example.
No, but
I
it
hope
makes
you
sense.
understand.
It totally
but
makes
yeah,
sense.
so no, it's just like we're at Baskin Robbins and there's only that flavor, and so you settle because you're not sure when peanut butter will be back in stock.
So what do you do? More often than not, you settle.
You do.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're listening to this podcast right now, whether you're in your car, you're at home, you're sitting in your room, whatever you're doing, you're like, oh gosh, this has been me. I've settled. Or maybe you are settling right now.
Yeah, I have countless stories of times that I settled because I was like swiping and I was like, I'm so sick of swiping. Let me just text somebody who I didn't really like. And I was like,
gosh.
yeah, that was a great idea, Danny.
I
That's
hope
what you
that
should do.
wasn't me. Was it me? Well, did you settle for me?
No.
Oh gosh, now we were gonna get into our relationship. No, I think for us, well, I've always settled. I'll be honest. I've always, dated someone that probably didn't feel right, but I was just like, like this is what's here right now. And as my past is being a serial dater, and that's not good. But I've learned a lot from it. But when I finally met Dani, what felt really good to me about her is that I actually liked her. Like, I really liked who she was. And I think we really took the time to get to know each other. And that's one of the biggest things that helped us to see if we were a great fit instead of just moving too quickly.
Because we were like, oh crap, like we found somebody. That's awesome. Let's just dive right into it and forget about the rest.
No, our relationship, I would say, really took a lot of time to get to know each other. And it didn't feel like... It didn't, and Dan, I love you to death, but it didn't feel like the other things because it wasn't like a fling. It wasn't. It never was like that with us. And we've had, oh my gosh, we've had some of the most amazing times, especially in the beginning. Not anymore. No, I'm just kidding. But no, really, it's been nice because we took the time to get to know each other. And even though it doesn't have all the rushy like feelings of, oh my gosh, like I just like them so much, and it's like that. It's like we took time. So I think you do miss out on the first love honeymoon stage of it all because, I don't know, I don't think it's a bad thing though because now we're in the honeymoon stage.
Yeah, I think there's such a difference between the regular honeymoon phases that you and I both experienced with other people because it was such a fantasy.
It's a fantasy. Let's
really,
talk about that for a minute.
You know what? I want to save that actually for a different podcast episode. So I think we're going to do that next week. But it leaves you it leaves you in such a fantasy mode of like, you don't know the other person's flaws. You're still on the high of like how good this person is making you feel. But as soon as it's over, you guys start hating each other.
Yeah. And
what does that
work.
look like?
Yeah. So, and what I mean by when it starts out as, taking it slower, you're not really, feeling that rush of like it's almost like you ignore the flaws. Right?
Yeah,
that's what the honeymoon stage is in the beginning. Is like you truly ignoring the flaws.
Well, sometimes you're not, like truly not getting to know the person, so of course you wouldn't know the flaws.
Don't even see them, yeah. But here's the truth, and if you think about it, someone can only pretend to be someone else for so long.
Yeah.
They're
or
eventually
pretend not to see it. Like things are going to come about. The honeymoon phase ends, and you're left with the reality of what this person really is like. What you're really like with the other person. And then sometimes it crashes because you're like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
This is not what I signed up for, and I'm kind of screwed now.
So if you could give your advice on how you work through dating and scarcity, what would you say? I mean, obviously, we talked a little bit about our relationship and taking it slower, but how do you actually take it slower?
There's so much that goes into all of the relationship pieces, which is what you and I talk about all the time,
Yes.
The ups and downs of finding yourself and finding someone else and what you want in a partner. I think taking it slow means, I think the real thing is to lower your expectations, not with standards, because I think your standards should be high, but when you're meeting someone, you don't have to think the world of them before you know them.
Yeah.
Having your expectations of it's okay if it doesn't work out. We're going to take it slow. I'm going to really see if I like them. If not, that's okay. The next person who comes along, whether it's in my town or long distance, may be better for me. And it's okay.
No, I love that one because my biggest problem was that I was getting really, really caught up in like, this has to work. So once you start to think that thought, then it's like, it's over from there because you're already going to be disappointed. You're already going to be upset. So it's better if you just go in with a different mindset of not setting those expectations and seeing how that goes, because you never know. I mean, now that we're dating online, we've been dating online. If you're in the LGBTQ plus community, that's mostly where you date. It's really hard to find people in person. But dating online, you see a picture and you start to assume the world about them. You see, you just start thinking about things that you want. So I think just really focusing in on, you know what, this person looks great, but I'm gonna give them a chance. I'm gonna give them an opportunity to meet them. I'm gonna talk to them
And take it slow. It doesn't have to be a week and you're like, they're the one. We need to move in now. It doesn't.
The U-hauling
It doesn't.
in us.
Yeah, and we will get way deeper into stuff like that.
We have some good stuff coming for that.
Ooh, there's a lot to unpack in dating.
By the
way,
heavy. I wanted to throw this in there. If you're resonating with anything that we're saying and you're feeling like you just need to dive a little bit deeper into these topics and you need more support, we do currently have our membership open. It's only open a few times a year, so definitely click. Dani will link it in the show notes. So definitely click that or go to DaniMaxCoaching.com/membership and you can sign up there. It's only open till this Sunday. So make sure that you go sign up for that. I just want to throw that in there. But we dive really deep into these topics.
Yeah, so we help people through all the different struggles of the U-hauling, of the picking the person that you want, and all the good stuff that comes into it. Because let's be real here. Dating is a struggle for a lot of us. Maintaining a healthy relationship can be a struggle too.
Absolutely.
There's so many ups and downs, and coming out in the aftermath of coming out and having a partner and not having a partner. Like, there's so many different things that we're just trying to help people with, regardless of where they are in their journey or who they're with or who they're not with.
Yeah.
We're doing this all together. We're as a team.
And definitely what I've seen a lot on TikTok is coming out later in life, you feel like the clock is ticking, right? You feel like you have to settle down with someone right now, right here, and that puts a lot of pressure on you as well. So we talk a lot about that and just, working through that, because back to the dating and scarcity, feeling like you need to find someone. Maybe you're seeing all of your friends are getting married. That's another thing too. So just be mindful.
We're going to be diving into that as well.
Yeah, definitely just taking it slow, not setting those expectations. Those are the main things that we really focus on and, dive a lot deeper into. But yeah, dating and scarcity, big. It's really big in the LGBTQ plus community. So,
but there's a way to overcome it, and we're here to guide you through the whole way.
Absolutely. Well, we're so glad that you tuned in for this podcast. Like we said earlier, make sure you leave us a review on iTunes. Is it iTunes?
iTunes, Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts. Oh, I messed that one up. But definitely leave us a review. If you have any advice, questions, anything at all, make sure you send us a message at Coming Out Happy on Instagram. That's where we answer all the messages, and we can't wait to hear from you, see what you think, and we'll definitely be back next week with more dating, life, LGBTQ plus struggles, and we can't wait to share all of that with you all. So see you soon.